everybody, and welcome to the Everything Voiceover Podcast. My name is Justin D. Torres. The Everything Voiceover Podcast is brought to you by The Voice Realm, where only professional voice actors are listed. Today, in this episode of Everything Voiceover, the Everything Voiceover Podcast, I wanted to talk about agents and all things about agents, because I know it's kind of like this pie-in-the-sky thing for most new voiceover artists, and they want to know how to get agents or what they do. All they know is that everyone wants to get an agent. It's like a huge boon for a majority of the voiceover actor community, and it's weird because I feel like the only people who really know what agents are like are the ones who live in New York or LA, because they're interacting with agents on a regular basis, or they actually are in areas with agents. So I'm hoping that for all you other people out there, I hope I'll be able to give you a little bit more information on where to find agents, how to get in touch with agents, and what they expect of you, or what most of them expect of you, and the types of agents there are. And hopefully, at the end of this podcast, you'll be able to assess where you're at in your career, and whether you want an agent, whether you need an agent, or whether you've got a few steps left to do before you actually go after an agent. Once again, this is just my opinion, and there are a bunch of different people out there that have different opinions regarding agents. This is just my personal experience with them, but, it'll be helpful, and hopefully everyone has their own experiences. I think everyone should share them because they're infinitely helpful. Okay, so the first big question is, who are agents? Now, agents are the gatekeepers to the auditions that are sent out by casting directors. Casting directors are the gatekeepers to the jobs themselves. Casting directors send out auditions to agents. Let's say they're looking for someone for a subway spot, so they need a young male, so they'll send out to the agencies that they trust regarding voice talent, and they'll request, say, 10 or so young adult males' voices for a subway spot, and then it's up to the agent to either send their voice talent out to audition with their casting director in person, or sometimes the other way it's happening, and this is more recently, is that they ask you to send in an MP3 of the audition for them. And that's how it's been working with me. I was with Access Talent for a couple of years, and that's how it worked with me. Now, if you want to see what talent is available in agencies, all you need to do is go to voicebank.net, and then on there you look in the voice talent directory, and you'll be able to see all the different talent agencies, voiceover talent agencies there are out there, and you'll also be able to listen to all the different types of demos that are out there. And it's a huge resource because you'll be able to see who the big players are, what they sound like. Sometimes you'll even be able to recognize who that guy was in the Lexus commercial. It's pretty amazing. And, these are the top guns. They're the ones that are sent out. And if you're looking at really great agencies like Abrams or Paradigm and all the big ones out there, and CESD, the top of the top agencies, there'll probably be even like celebrities on those too. So if you want to do a little bit of research on what agents are out there, go to voicebank.net, because that's the wealth of information that's there. Now, there are a couple of types of agents or agencies, or I like to say agents because that's what we're not trying to get an agency, we're trying to get an agent. There's union agents, there's non-union agents, there's agents that will represent you if you live out of town, and there's agents that require you to go in for jobs. A lot of these they're not specific. They're not, they can coincide together. And also, a lot of union agents also have a non-union section of their agency as well. So they all kind of interconnect in there, but it's important to know the difference, because a union agency is primarily going to send you out for union jobs, and a non-union agency or a non-union part of a union agency will send you out for non-union jobs and possibly union jobs as well. A non-union agency will send you out for only non-union jobs, and as for the other ones, agents that will represent you if you're out of town, I haven't worked with them specifically because I haven't really reached out, but I think they require you to have a really good studio or be able to go to a studio nearby with a sound engineer so that they'll be able to work with you. Now, primarily when it comes to agents that require you to go in for jobs, a lot of them are going to be in the really big areas. We're talking about New York, LA, Atlanta, sometimes San Francisco. When I lived there, there was a couple of smaller agencies that sent you in for jobs. And when I say sent you in for jobs, that they mean you have to go to an actual casting agency or a studio somewhere, walk in, sign your name onto a little list, and then they'll call you in and you'll actually do the audition in front of an actual casting director. And they'll direct you, and they'll try and get the performance they want out of you, and it's a person-to-person interaction. That's something that most voiceover talent doesn't really do as regularly. So if you're going in for the big jobs, you better be ready to talk to people. You better be ready to network. You better be ready to talk to people in person. You better be happier with your life. You can't be like sad all the time. So yeah, these are very interesting segments of like what exactly agents are. Now, why do you want agents? Like I said before, they are the gatekeepers to the casting directors, and the casting directors are the gatekeepers to the jobs. Now, when I initially spoke with union agencies, and the way I did that was like there's little pay-to-plays or like one-on-one meet and greets where you pay a certain amount of money and then you actually talk to an agent for like 5 minutes and you get to show them your demo and whatnot. And these are actual agents for the most part. And whenever I spoke to particular voiceover agents, they wanted a couple of different things. They had a few requirements, or maybe one of 3 requirements. Number one, they wanted me to have a few jobs under my belt. Hopefully, they were jobs that they really wanted them to be jobs with people you went in to work with. So, like, they wanted you to gain either union jobs where you were sent in by the casting director and you booked a job, because those are significantly more important than the ones you don't do that, because that means you're interacting with people. That means not only are you interacting with a casting director in, let's say, New York City, and you went in and you proved that you were awesome and then the client loves you, you're also gaining a networking aspect so that casting director is like, oh yeah, I know Justin, I booked him on this. Of course I'd call him back in for a bunch of stuff. You know, they want union agencies, and well, any agency really wants someone who's already networked in to the town itself. They already know people, because they're less likely to hire someone they don't know. Let's be honest, you know? The other thing they wanted you to do is either train or be coached by casting directors around town. And that's the networking aspect is huge for person-to-person interactions. You want it. And the other thing they wanted to have was a fully produced demo. Now this was huge, or at least be on your way to producing that demo and having it scheduled. That's what they wanted, and they didn't want just a non put together demo. They wanted a really produced demo. And the good thing about living in like LA or New York is that you can have demos produced by casting directors, which in turn made you in with a casting director. They liked you enough. They did a demo for you, so you're already in with one casting director. That's what I did. I had my demo produced by Dorianne Elliott of Phantom Audio. She's amazing. She's an amazing coach. If you ever get a chance to go to New York and work with her, she's top-notch, one of the best, and just an amazing human being in general. And yeah, they wanted a fully produced demo. So when they said, do you have a demo available? I said, no, but it's going to be produced 3 weeks from now. Dorianne Elliott's doing it from Phantom Audio. And they're like, oh, okay, well, once you get the demo, send it to me, we'll talk. And I honestly felt like there were a couple of agents that were like, yes, once you get the demo to me, we'll talk about it, we'll see, tell Dorianne to message me, I'll totally sign on board. And that was great. So there are ways to get they really want 3 things. They want you to either have a few jobs under your belt, to have worked with casting directors, or better yet, have actual jobs with casting directors, and also they wanted a fully produced demo to send out. Now, here's the thing about agents. Even if you do have an agent, there's no guarantee you're going to get jobs. There's zero guarantee that you're going to get jobs. You have to beat out the fellow voiceover talent there, and you're going to have to beat out voiceover talent that has been there for years and years. You have to prove yourself as being better than them, or just take the jobs away from them. You have to be successful. I mean, the only thing an agent can do is get you an audition, and the only thing a casting director can do is get you in the booth. Beyond that, you have to do it yourself. There's no guarantee that suddenly becoming an agency is a guarantee of consistent work. There are plenty of people I know in all aspects of the industry, whether it be film, theater, voiceover, they have agents, but they don't have jobs. So don't think that the casting directors or agents are like a golden ticket. You still have to put in the work, and you still have to be good. So yeah, and that's the one thing that's kind of hard to understand with some people, because they think that there was a whole slew of people that joined SAG-AFTRA just assuming that when the unions merged, that they would be in on all the union jobs. And what ended up happening was they had not networked, they had not done anything, they hadn't worked with people, nobody knew who they were, and all they were was in the union. And I'll tell you, the union initiation fee is $3,000. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. Anyway, now we've hit the midpoint. Once again, the Everything Voiceover podcast is brought to you by The Voice Realm, where only professional voice actors are listed. It's a great site. I did a review on it. And if you want to see that review, you can go ahead and go to everythingvoiceover.com, check out our YouTube page. Got a great review on them, and a couple other pay-to-play sites are on there too as well. I have very distinct opinions about certain things, but I am a fan of thevoicerealm.com very much, and I've gotten a few jobs from them, and they're really good people. So it might be a good thing to check into if you're out there trying to figure out where to get auditions. Okay, so now we're hitting the second half of our little all about agents, everything voiceover podcast. Now here's a fun thing that you should know, is that there's a combination of a few things that will get you jobs when it comes to walking into a studio and auditioning there. Number one, talent. You got to be good, and you got to be coached. You got to have some kind of acting talent in the background. You got to have dealt with voiceover in the past. You know, you have to have trained with some of the good people out there, and you have to be good. Number two, networking. You have to be kind of known, and if you don't, you have to be able to network. And that means a smile on your face, which brings us to number three, which is general demeanor. You got to be, you don't necessarily have to look terribly, sharp, because I've seen a lot of voiceover actors that come in just pretty much as is. But there's a coolness to some of the voiceover actors that I know that are very, very successful. Like I said, I interviewed like Brian Hansberry, very cool guy, very nice guy. When I saw him walk into an audition room, and this was years when I first started out, and he'd been doing it for a while at that point, he kind of came in and said hello to everyone. He already knew a majority of everyone already there. And I was like, that guy gets all the jobs. And it's obvious because he's a cool guy. So general demeanor really helps. And the unfortunate thing, when you're a non-union voiceover actor, you're always sitting at home. The only interaction you have with clients are through email. And, you don't have face-to-face contact. And if you want to make that jump to agent stuff, unless you have like a really amazing setup and you're only really shooting for like agents that are in different areas that will take your MP3 files and trust that you will get the job done to their specifications, you're kind of going to have to interact with people one-on-one. And it's weird for us, but, it's a hump, and I have no doubt any voiceover actor out there listening, you can do it, don't worry about it, just have fun. And remember, this is voiceover. This is not the hardest job in the world, to be perfectly honest. And if you do those walk-in auditions, guess what? You're not going to be editing it. You're not going to be doing sound engineering. They're going to send you 2 or 3 days from now. They're going to put you in a studio with a sound engineer and a director, and they're just going to work you. And it's going to be easy, and all you'll have to do is voiceover. It's really cool if you ever get a chance to do it. I recommend it for everyone. Now, when I first joined my agency, Access Talent, which I'm no longer a part of, I'm actually trying to shoot for like a non-union agency just because, union jobs are tough to come by. When I first started with them, they had told me before you signed on with them, they were like, listen, we're going to send you out for union jobs. We only ask that you be willing to join the union when the time comes that you're eligible. And when I was like, absolutely. Yes, absolutely, I'll do that. And unfortunately, a couple of years went by, and I'd done a couple of jobs, quite a few smaller jobs, but they were really few and far between. I'd done a bunch of audiobooks and children's books, but never like the big old nationals. Those were always kind of like slightly out of my reach, to be perfectly honest. And, when I thought about it after the years had gone by, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can make that 3,000. Like, I can't really commit $3,000 to the union when the union, I probably haven't made $3,000 in union jobs over the last couple of years. So, that's something you're going to have to think about. And if you're a confident person and you realize you're going to go in, you're going to kick ass, you're really going to invest in yourself, and you're going to go and take classes over and over again, and you're just going to put your nose to the grindstone. I guess that's the way you call it. I'm sorry if that's the wrong, part of the face to be talking about. Maybe it's the ear, nose, mind. Anyway, if you're gonna really hack at it and grind at it, then you're willing to join the union, then yeah, when an agency signs you on, they're gonna ask you, like, are you going to be willing to join the union? Union agencies will be sending you out for union jobs, and they want, when you turn union, to be theirs. They're going to be sending you out. So unfortunately, when I had union jobs, the lower end of the union, which is scale, you only really got me about $500 to $700, and I had gotten residuals a couple of times, but that was about $100 to $300 every 3 or 4 months for just regional. Like I said, never got a national. I wish I'd gotten a national. But anyway, those are what union agents are talking about. And if you're a union person, more power to you. And if you're pulling jobs, you've got a talent. And I haven't hit that portion of my career yet, but I hope that eventually I will. But I've been pretty happy with non-union. And now there's also the non-union agents, and they exist, and there are non-union portions of union agencies. Unfortunately, when I talked to my older agent, they said that someone had given her a statistic that said 80% of jobs that are currently in the voiceover industry are non-union. And when I told her, it's like, listen, I just, at this point, I would not be willing to join the union. I don't think it would be feasible, and I don't think I would do well. Now, how do you get non-union agents? Now, non-union agents will send you out for much lower priced jobs, and they may be hourly, they may be smaller, but they're going to be good. I mean, like the few non-union jobs I went out for were all lucrative in their own way, shape, or form. And how do you get those agents? Well, it's the same kind of thing. Take classes with them, do one-on-ones, and introduce yourself. Have a casting director recommend you to them. Have a coach introduce you to them. A lot of the times when it comes to metropolitan areas where you're going in for agents, you got to meet people, you got to talk to people, you got to take classes, and you got to take the right classes. Because believe you me, if you start spending your money where you don't know if those classes are going to be worthwhile, you really need to think about it, because sometimes there are classes that are really great, and sometimes there are classes where you're not 100% sure. Like I said, if you wanted to get into an agent, a good way to do classes is with an actual agent, or with a casting director, or with someone who will introduce you to casting directors. I would never say never take a class with a voiceover talent, but I would say that, there's a lot more value to casting directors and agents, because those are the people who can get you jobs. I would, sometimes you're looking at a person who works with an agency and is also a voice talent, and that's good too. Those people can definitely represent you. Unfortunately, it's a pay-to-play kind of thing. You got to kind of work your way into it. Unfortunately, there's no voiceover university where you can come out of like a Harvard type thing and suddenly everyone will want you for your voiceover jobs. That doesn't happen. If you want to get into an agency, you've got to go out and take classes in LA. You got to take classes in New York. You maybe take Skyping sessions classes. You got to get coached by a casting director. It's a bit of a money sink, and also the demo is also a huge money sink. But what is the payoff? The payoff is you might be doing a voice for Lexus one day, or you might be the voice of a popular cartoon at some point. And it's all kind of figuring out how to how to make your own way, how to carve your own path. And believe me, every one of you out there, it's a path, it's a journey. And guess what? Once you get the agent, the journey is still going. There's no guarantee that once you get an agent, you're going to be successful. You have to figure out ways to be successful in your route. I have no doubt that there are a couple out there, people out there who've never had an agent, who will go up to New York, take a couple of classes, hit it big, start working right away because they've got like a unique style or a unique voice, or they just know how to do voiceover really easily, and they'll be awesome. Yeah, that definitely happens. But, I'm coming from the aspect of me where I've had to carve my way through like pay-to-play sites, and I've had to gain repeat clients of people, of things, companies that just have found me. And, I've survived, and I've been with agencies. I've been represented by non-union and union agencies. And, you got to learn. You got to be in the learning phase constantly and the performance phase. Okay? Now when it comes to those agents, those hard agents where you're in, let's say you're in Kansas or something like that, and you want an agent. Well, the unfortunate thing is with the bigger agents in LA and New York, they're going to require you to go back and forth. They're going to require you to either, number one, have a good enough studio where the big clients will be able to record stuff and have it be put out on television, which who knows who the gatekeepers of that are, or they're going to want you to go into the nearest metropolitan area and record for them. Now, I've heard there are a select few agencies out there that will utilize you as a on their roster if you can produce the auditions and if you are willing to go into a studio to record. And those particular agents I've only heard from certain fellow voice actors about, and I'm probably going to try and reach out to those people soon. But like I said, with agents, it's not a guarantee of jobs. They can only, and believe me, if you do get onto an agent's roster and you don't pull for a while, you might not get as many auditions. It's really just how much you can produce efficiency-wise as quickly as possible. If you're a person who gets a lot of jobs or callbacks, or they have you online for certain things, then your agent will have a lot of confidence in you. And if you don't, keep your agent in mind and message them every now and then, especially if you have a job or something. Say, hey, I just got this job here, and maybe you'd like to send me out for this type of stuff. They are supposed to represent you. And, like I said, you're carving out a path for where you are. Know that once you get to the agency portion, there's still a path to be carved. There's no end goal. You're still going to have to hustle. And in some ways, you're going to have to hustle in different ways. The classes shouldn't stop when you get an agent. You should still be going after other casting directors, getting to know them, and trying to get into their good graces and trying to say, hey, I'm here, I've taken your class. If you need me for anything, feel free to contact my agent. That's all stuff you've got to do. And it's a hustle, and it's rough. And I wish, as a person who's doing a podcast, I could help you and give you more information. But unfortunately, everyone I've met has a different story for how they got an agent. Mine's very simple. I was a part of a class. The teacher recommended me for my agency. That's how I got the agent. And then on the other end of the portion, my coach had me do a meet and greet with two specific non-union agents, and they had me sent out for a couple of stuff. And that's how I got my agents. And that's it. And I hope people out there don't get discouraged. It's all a process. Think about it this way. You're makeshifting your own university. So every piece of money you send in, think of that as like, those were my books. Instead of doing a $35,000 a year tuition at a good college, you're spending $300 for a class, or maybe $500 for $500 each for like 4 classes. And you're just trying to work through it, and you can do it. I have confidence in you. confidence in you. Everything Voiceover has confidence in you. Thank you guys for listening. My name is Justin D. Torres. Once again, the Everything Voiceover podcast is brought to you by The Voice Realm, where only professional voice actors are listed. This has been the Everything Voiceover podcast. Once again, my name is Justin D. Torres. Feel free to go to everythingvoiceover.com, check out our new articles and videos, all there, or follow us on Twitter at EverythingV, or check out our Facebook page or our YouTube page, because we're doing a lot of videos there. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great day.